everyone, to this year's PLW Wiffle Ball Draft. On the clock first are the Snappers. With the first pick of this year's draft, the Snappers select Manny Santillanes Jr., shortstop out of Orange County, California.
So Manny's great selection for the Snappers, shortstop. He has lots of experience playing softball for years. His son goes to Georgetown, great player as well. And Manny's going to pitch a little bit for the Snappers. He's going to hit a little bit. Great selection for them. Looking forward to a big year out of Manny.
That puts the ones up on the clock next. They'll have 60 seconds to make their pick. With the second pick of this year's draft, the ones have selected Dylan Thomas, outfielder out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Dylan Thomas, excellent pick, has a really hard swing. People are trying to recruit him already before the draft. As he was playing with the Heat, he's going to be able to bring a lot to the table for the ones, being a rookie season, a rookie team. Expect big things from Dylan this year.
That puts the Bombers up on the clock. With the third pick of this year's draft, the Bombers have selected Hollis, Hale. He's a pitcher out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hollis Hale came out to the tryout, looked really well, was able to pitch, was able to hit. Going to be a really nice selection for the Bombers. He played some college basketball as well as TJ, so they're going to find some common ground there. Looking forward to seeing what Hollis is going to do this year.
That puts the Calicos up on the clock next. They have 60 seconds here. And with the fourth pick of this year's draft, the Calicos have selected James Stein, shortstop and pitcher out of St. George, Utah.
James Stein, excellent pick for the Calicos. He's going to take him to the next level. James Stein would have been a clear #1 pick if he was able to make it to all the games. Unfortunately, he doesn't live in Vegas, but he's so dedicated. He's going to be driving down to games. He promised to make half the games for the Calicos, and that's why I think they took him with their first pick.
That'll put the Warbirds up next. They'll have 60 seconds to make their pick. With the fifth pick of this year's draft, the Warbirds have selected Phil Surgen. He's an infielder from Vermont, back east.
Phil Surgen, great pick for the Warbirds. He came to the tryout. One thing I saw from Phil, great hustle. He was diving after plays. He was putting 110% in everything. Good swing and some hard line drives. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to do this season.
That will put the Snappers back up on the clock. With the sixth pick, the Snappers have selected Kyle Ingerson, infielder, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Kyle Ingerson had some games with the Heat, hit pretty well. He helped the Heat beat the Bombers in the playoffs before the Heat dissolved, so great pickup by the Snappers. One thing he's going to give you, he's going to show up, he's going to play hard, he's going to hit the ball hard. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to do this season.
That's going to put the ones back up on the clock. And with the 7th overall pick, the ones have selected Ray Guerrero, pitcher out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Ray Guerrero came to the tryout. He's been to the ranch one time. That was some of the question marks. Why he probably didn't go a little bit higher. Maybe wasn't sure what kind of commitment level they were going to get out of him, but he's a solid player, a good pitcher, was throwing over 55 pretty easy, so some control, good repeatable delivery. Interested to see how he's going to do this year.
That will put the Bombers back up next. And with the 8th pick of this year's PLW Wiffle Ball Draft, the Bombers have selected C.J. Peterson, an outfielder from here, Las Vegas, Nevada.
C.J. Peterson, not a bad pickup for the Bombers. He plays with TJ in another league, so I could see why they took him there. CJ's commitment level is a little iffy, as he might not be able to play many of the games, but the Bombers already have a lot of players on their team, so they didn't really need someone necessarily to show up all the time. So CJ is going to be a great pickup for them to give them a little extra pop when they need it.
That'll put the Calicos up next. And with the 9th pick of this year's draft, the Calicos have selected A.J. Petrovski. He's a shortstop, Las Vegas, Nevada.
A.J., one of the top hitters in the Wednesday League. Obviously, he would go number 1 or number 2 if he was able to play all the time. His commitment level might be 0. We'll see. Calicos picked him up just in case he decides to play on Monday and his night opens up. So we'll see if this ends up being a sleeper pick and he ends up showing up to some games. If not, the Calicos will be fine. Their team looks really solid this year.
That's going to give the Warbirds 60 seconds. And with the 10th pick, the Warbirds have selected Randy Dalbey. Pitcher, utility, he's from Phoenix, Arizona.
Randy Dalbey, great pick. He's from Arizona. If he lived here, he would also be a top pick. He fell down a little bit because he's only going to be able to make 1 weekend a month. The Warbirds are going to be okay with that. They were happy to take him to get some extra pop, especially if it gets near the end of the season, maybe for playoffs, maybe if they're finding themselves in relegation. Randy's going to be a great addition, going to be some great pop when they need him, if they can pick and select the games that they want him to come to. We'll see what happens.
That's going to put the Snappers back up on the clock. We're going to give the Snappers 3 minutes here for this 3rd round selection. And 11th overhaul here to the Snappers. They're going to select Jonathan Wilson, the only left-hander in this year's draft.
Jonathan Wilson really liked the swing, big lefty. He came out to some games, hit the ball really hard. Commitment might be an issue. We'll see what happens. Snappers took him kind of late. If they knew that he was going to be showing up more often, then he would have definitely been a higher round pick. I can see him hitting somewhere over 400 for the season if he shows up regularly.
And that's going to put the ones back up on the clock. We're going to give them 3 minutes here. And with the 12th pick of this year's PLW Draft, the ones have selected Spencer Barrick. He's an outfielder from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Spencer Barrick, great player. It seemed like when he came out, he was a little bit raw playing wiffle ball, but you could see the baseball skills are there. Very strong, very good arm, very hard hitter. We'll see if he is able to show up and make adjustments to playing wiffle ball.
That leaves just 1 pick left. The Bombers are going to get 3 minutes to make that last pick of the draft. And with the 13th pick and final pick, last but not least, we have Peter Mocabee, pitcher utility player from Phoenix, Arizona.
Peter Mocabee came to the tournament we had in January, did great for his team, ended up winning MVP, so not a bad pick right here. The Bombers should be happy to have him. Will he be able to show up that much? He said once a month. So once a month, we'll see if it was worth the Bombers drafting him.
And thanks, everyone. That will conclude this year's PLW Draft. We want to thank everyone for supporting us, and we look to see some of you in the future. We will develop a Tuesday League coming right here in the future because we have so much interest. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for watching, guys. We had a lot of interest after being on Fox 5. It ended up blowing up all of our messages. We got a lot of players at our tryout, a lot of players messaging into the draft. Unfortunately, there's only 8 teams in Premier League Wiffle. There'll never be more than 8 teams. So what ended up happening as teams want to join, they go to regulation, they can play them and try to beat teams to get into the league. So the league just got a lot stronger today. Looking forward to a big season. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.